Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are looking at issue 88 of Die Cutting Essentials magazine. So the free gift here we've got is by Memory Box, and this is the Springtime Butterflies 5-piece die set. So in here you have got two of the beautiful butterfly kind of outlines, then you have a silhouette butterfly in there as well, and you do have a body with the antenna as well, so you can really build these up to be quite realistic. And then you have this oval die just here, which has got this lovely kind of floral leaves kind of detail going on the sides. This is very, very thin, and you'll see in the cards that we create today, I'm going to cut this from some black card, but it is very, very thin and very delicate, but so beautiful again then to match up with your butterflies. You can also download some paper, so you've got 10 papers to download and 16 toppers as well. You can download that from the Craft World website. So I have downloaded some papers. This is the two papers that I downloaded. This is just a snippet of what I've got left. So they've got some really lovely, this I think is so beautiful, the watercolours. It had some butterflies, it had maybe some ladybirds and things on there. You get a couple of them, you know, in this more kind of water style colour, sort of patterns. You get then lots of florals again. You get kind of really lovely big bug ones, which I think would be perfect for kids' cards. You get ones like this. I thought this was so beautiful as well. So lovely colours. And I'm actually going to be creating 4 slimline cards in today's video, and I'm using both of these patterned papers. So I'm kind of creating the same cards again, so just 2 different variations. And yeah, I think these are such beautiful papers. I wanted to just kind of make the most of having printed these. And I've printed this card onto some ultra smooth cardstock, and they've come out absolutely beautifully. So that was a look at the free gift. Let's take a look in the magazine itself. So let's take a look at some of the inspiration in here. So these are absolutely beautiful by Nikki. So again, a variety of different size cards. Even though this is a smaller die set, you know, you can really make this work. Again, I'm going to be creating some slimline cards today. But you know, you've got squares, bigs, you know, small squares. You've got creating these lovely panels, snipping into your oval there. You've got a little bit of inlay, turning that into a shaker element, and then using the dies to create some dry embossing that I think is so beautiful. So I absolutely love the colour. I love this card here again. Just having those panels, I think it works so beautifully. We have got stenciling a solid butterfly. So again, here using one of those butterflies to create a stencil. And then she's just die cut that same butterfly again and added it on the top. So, you know, it is a 1-layer butterfly, but you can absolutely turn it into, you know, 2 layers or more if you wanted to. So while we're just going through the magazine, I do have a commission in this one. This is Glorious Glitter. This did create quite a bit of glittery mess in my craft room, but I did really enjoy it. It's creating some glittery sort of stained glass window panels in here. I absolutely loved doing this one. So, you know, taking then some glitter and mainly just some double-sided adhesive sheets and just inlaying that glitter into there. We've got an acetate front for this one here. We've got this beautiful circle card, and it was so much fun. If you've got glitter in your stash that you really want to get rid of or, you know, use up, this is a really fantastic way of doing it. I absolutely loved this commission. It was so much fun, something a little bit different, and I think the results are just so beautiful. There is a how-to on here as well, how in terms of how to create this stained glass window effect, so you will be able to kind of follow along on here. Yeah, if you don't like glitter, this might not be the project for you to try, but yeah, I just absolutely loved it. So we've got just a few more examples on here. Again, using them, you've got a triple easel card there. You've got creating a circle card. I really love this one. I think that's come out really well and very effective. Quite simple, but a very effective looking card. So absolutely beautiful using this set. So let's take a look at what comes included in next month's issue. So going into very much the spring summer sort of themed. So we've got on here, this is the Be Happy die and stamp set this month. Plus you've got 22 papers and toppers to download as well. And I am trying to kind of download some more of these papers, at least 1 or 2 to use, you know, in my projects, but yeah, I really love this one. So we've got, this is by Apple Blossom. So we've got this lovely big die here by the looks of it. So you've got all the bees and you've got the honeycomb and the flowers in the background, so you'll be able to build that up nicely. Then we do have two bee stamps. You've got then the sentiments be happy and beautiful. So absolutely lovely. That goes on sale the 21st of April. And I do have a commission in this magazine as well. So this is one of my cards from my commission. So this is creating shaped front flap cards. And again, that was very fun to do as well. So that was a look at the magazine and what comes included in next month's issue, but also what we get with this one. So let's go ahead and create our slimline cards using this issue of Die Cutting Essentials. So as I said, I'm going to be creating 4 slimline cards today. So 2 are going to be the same. So I'm just creating 2 sets of 2 cards here, just while I had everything out. And I wanted to make the most from those pattern papers. Otherwise, I just cut what I want from it and then it just goes in the drawer. So I figured while I had everything out, let's make a second one of each. So I'm just doing a little bit of die cutting here to begin with. I'm using my Creative Craft products. These are the DL stitched nesting dies. I'm taking the largest and I'm die cutting that from the orange and the olive green cardstock. Then I'm going to take the next size down and die cut that from my patterned paper. This is going to be a little bit more of a basic card. That pattern paper is really going to stand out and be quite a main focal point to this card, and that's why I wanted to use these nesting dies, because you have that stitched detailing on here. It just adds something a little more interest to your card if it is more on the basic side. Like I said, I really love these papers, especially this sort of watercolor one on the left. I think it is so beautiful. So I'm going to be pairing the olive green with the first patterned paper, and then the orange is going to be to kind of help bring out the orange of that butterfly of our more sort of, watercolor paper there. So I'm just going to finish up die cutting all of these. So like I said, I'm creating 2 from each of these panels, and I love using dies for this because you are able to frame your panel and you can cut it exactly how you want it to look. So if you want a certain element to be in there, rather than having to kind of chop up the whole piece of cardstock, you can just use it to frame it exactly to the position that you want it to be and have this look exactly how you want it to be. So that is my die cutting. I've got 4 DL sized card bases here pre-made. I bought these off of Amazon. They come with envelopes as well, so they're absolutely perfect. And we can start layering up these cards. So I'm just going to glue down my card bases to begin with, just with some Nuvo glue. And then I've got some foam tape already on the back of my patterned papers, and I'll be able to very simply just add these on top. So again, very simple in its design, there's not tons going on here, but that patterned paper just really helps to kind of elevate it and give something a little bit kind of more interesting. Because of the stitched detailing on here, you do have quite a wide border, but it's nice to be able to see that coloured cardstock underneath it. And then again, just sort of it helps bring out the colours in this patterned paper. And you'll notice that I'm kind of building these 4 cards in a sort of a production line, if you like. So I'm doing all of my die cutting, I glued all my bases down, I added the foam tape to all of my patterned panels, and I'm adding these back on. I find this to be the easiest and the quickest way of manufacturing cards. If you're making multiple cards, I do honestly find this the easy way to do it, because you're just doing it as an assembly line. You do one thing, the next and the next, and I just think it works really well. So now we can get on to using the dies from this issue. So I'm going to die cut this from some black cardstock. So when I first die cut this is incredibly delicate. It's very got some thin lines on here. So you want to be careful when you do take it out of the die, just so you don't end up ripping any portions. But I really didn't have any problems getting this out of the die. I did use my pick at one point just to kind of help get those pieces out. So I did find, because I used my Gemini Mini, I probably need to get a new folder for this now because it's very warped, but I found there was just a few areas where it didn't die cut exactly how I wanted it to, straight through. So I did run this back through again, and I just popped a slightly thicker piece of cardstock just on top of it as a shim, just to help it go through, and that worked perfectly then. So for the 4 of these that I die cut, so I'm cutting this 4 times, yeah, it just fell out after that. But sometimes you do need an extra shim. Like I said, you can see my folder here is very, very warped. I've had this since I've had the Gemini Mini, and I really love this machine, and this embossing folder has really lasted really, really well, I think. I was quite surprised, actually. I was thinking that I might have had to buy a new one before now. So you can see I popped that on a piece of paper just so you could see what this looked like. Very delicate, but very, very beautiful. And I'm going to kind of use this as a background to where I'm going to put my sentiment. So this isn't kind of the main focal point. Like I said, the papers are going to end up being that main focal point for me. But I've still got these on here just to bring it back in. I've used the black so it does stand out really nicely against all of those colours. And it just adds a little bit more interest. So I'm going to finish up die cutting all 4 of these, and then we can go ahead and start on our butterflies. So like I said, I wanted to die cut that from the black so it helps stand out. But then I wanted something a little bit more elegant for my butterflies. So I die cut those from some gold mirror card. And again, that's just going to add in another sort of element onto this. I just did the one layer of the butterfly. But like you've seen in the magazines, you can layer these up more if you want. You could do a background, you could do a little bit of stenciling and things, but I just kind of left it sort of as it was. So again, there's my 4 die cuts, and there's then my 4 beautiful butterflies. So I used then some Nuvo adhesive for this, some of the liquid glue. And what I did, I've actually decanted this into one of these little Crafter companion bottles, and this has a fine nib on it. You definitely want something with a finer nib for this because it is quite thin. I did struggle. I think the Nuvo glue is slightly thicker. So some areas it did kind of blob out in a few areas. When I've had my premium craft glue in my other bottle, which is from Hunky Dory, I haven't had any problems with it coming out. But this one is definitely a slightly thicker mixture for that glue, so I just need to kind of practice with that a little bit more. But that fine nib really is going to help you here. And then you can see I'm just popping this onto kind of the top portion of my card. I'm trying to keep it in that lovely oval shape as well, and I just think that helps kind of because it's black, it stands out from that background, and it's going to tie in nicely then when we stamp our sentiment, which is also going to be in some black ink. So I'm just going to do all of these now. Again, just adding the glue to the areas. I'm putting an acrylic block just on top of it to help it stick down nice and flat and kind of sit exactly where we want it to. Next, we're going to work on our sentiment before we sort of figure out where we want to place the butterflies. So I've taken this die set, it's a slightly older die set from Hunky Dory, and it has this banner which has got a little bit of stitched detailing on it. And I wanted to have my sentiment, so from my Ultimate Sentiment Builder stamp set, I wanted to kind of build this across rather than it being on separate lines. So I'm just going to die cut this first, and then I'm going to stamp my sentiment inside it. So I'm just taking my scraps box and picking out some scrap colours. I didn't want to go with the same colours I used for the mats and layers, so I did a lighter green and then that orange as well. And I'm just going to run this through to create 4 of these strips. So the 2 sentiments that I'm going to build is going to be Missing You So Much and Hope You Enjoy Your Day. So as I've shown you with my stamp set, you can build up your sentiments, lots of different occasions in here. And I didn't want to just go for, you know, the classics, birthdays and things like that. I wanted to go for something that slightly different occasions, but something that's a little bit more open-ended as well. I hope you enjoy your day. That could be for lots of different occasions, and Missing You So Much, you know, can obviously be just that, you know, a card that you send to somebody who you are missing, of course. So I'm stamping the same sentiment, one on the sort of orangey yellow cardstock here, and then the same again on the green. So we're going to have it's going to be an alternate. So in each set, you're going to have one of each, but you're going to have the 2 different colours. And then I can stamp next to it, Enjoy Your Day. So you can see how you can build these sentiments together. These cards are going to be available to purchase over on my Etsy shop, along with my 2 stamp sets as well. You've got the Ultimate Big Words, and this set here is the Ultimate Sentiment Builder. So I'm going to stamp both of these, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim these down. So I trimmed down the length and then I did that banner style at the ends. I like how this looks. I'm not particularly good at getting it neat and even and things like that, but I do love how it looks. So you can see I've done the 2 green ones there. So for these 2, we've got 1 of each sentiment. I've popped a foam pad on the back and I'm putting this straight through the middle of our kind of oval background. It just sort of frames that sentiment quite nicely. And again, then it matches in with that black ink that we've used for our sentiment. So I'm going to add these in. Then the last thing to do then is to add our butterfly, so I can really see where the sentiment is and where I want to pop my butterfly. So again, I'm going to take that same Nuvo glue there, which is in my little precision bottle here, and I'm just going to add it to the bottom section. I tried to add it onto the frame itself, but it didn't obviously sit quite right, so I did it onto the pattern paper so I could get a good addition to that cardstock. But I just think that butterfly adds a lovely little finishing touch to these cards, and I really do love how these turned out. And then the last thing to do is just to add some Nuvo drops onto this. So I decided to go in with that gold. So I've got the bright gold just to match and sort of elevate again that gold mirror cardstock. I didn't want it to be kind of too matchy with all the colours, but I just added a few Nuvo drops just around our oval and the sentiment, and that's going to then finish our cards for today. So again, I'm trying to use the patterned paper and things a little bit more, just for something a little different, and trying because they do work so nicely with the free gifts that come. You know, they're all designed to kind of work together beautifully. So I really love how these have turned out. Again, like I said, these will be available to buy. It's going to be 2 sets of 2 cards here, 1 of each, over on my Etsy shop. So there is a link in the description box down below for you to head over there. And like I said then, for my stamp set as well. So that is going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so you don't miss out on any future videos. That's going to be it for today. Thanks very much for watching and happy crafting.